What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ranch. All right, ranchers, I'm standing here at the southwest corner almost of my property, and I'm pretty much 30 yards from the street. And what am I doing here on the ranch? Well, I'm showing you this awesome clover piece plot I put in here. And I know what you're saying. You just told me you were 30 yards from the road. Why the heck would you put a clover plot, food plot here for you? Well, that's what this video is about. And by no means am I a professional. I am just a super enthusiast. As you can see in the back corner up here, I have a little bit of like a berm, a hill that blocks this side of my property, and I go up that way and I access across on the edge of my property line. That's where I got all the switchgrass that I put in up in that top flat up there. And that's about, I don't know, 75 yards up on that hill up there. And also on that hill right there are my neighbors. Great guys. Their property is right there. Their camp is set up right there, and they do hunting right there. What I found in the last few years is the deer come from across the street. They're down in there most of the day, and at night they come from there, and in the morning sometimes they come from across the street. And what I'm finding is these deer are entering right up the middle of their property, and then they go right past the wood line on their property, my neighbors, and then hook into my land. So what I'm trying to do is make my property more interesting, that they enter right here from the street and enter my property and follow this hill berm you see and hook up into my property without using my neighbors. Now, the idea is not to have deer standing here huntable light in the afternoon, because that's never going to happen being right on the street. I know that. But the idea is that I'm going to start creating a pattern at night where deer and the doe come through, they find this little easy nibble of food crossing the street here. And now they're not going to go up the hill because they're lazy. So they're just going to follow the contour of my property and walk underneath all the crabapple trees you see there with the white tubes. I planted in the cages, the two cages you see there, red osier dogwood, some browse, and they're gonna come across and hook into my land, as opposed to crossing the street, walking uphill through essentially nothing, open field from my neighbor's property into their woodlot. What I also did, which you can't see behind the camera, is I cut a 4-foot section of fence out. So now they don't have to creep or jump or do anything. They can enter my property right in. I think maybe the fence was holding them back a little bit too. So now they come in real easy. They don't have to do anything. They walk right in to my clover field. And I'm just going to go over to the corner of the property and give you an idea of, you can see right here in this section, this is the grass. Like what I would call my livable area grass. So you're really close to where like the family and friends are going to be partying and hanging out. Well, not partying, but hanging out. You know, that's like live grounds, because you got to have some property area where, you know, you can hang out and do what you're going to do. You can't devote it all to hunting. But I need to get the deer into my property. And that's what this little piece I put together does. And I wanted to show you that little puzzle, little part of my plan to help draw deer into my property and hold them there in the center of my property, where they're safer than as if they enter on the outside of my property through the neighbors. Again, I love my neighbors, but I'm not working with them, but I'm not also working against them. I'm just trying to do my thing here and make my land better for my deer, for my hunting. Maybe that's something you could think of for your property and put that in place. As always, I like to take a deep dive to let you see what I got in here. I pretty much threw the kitchen sink at this, but for the most part, it was all clover, a little bit of rye, and every once in a while you might see a brassica, just because they was probably left in the cedar. I had a little bit left over, and I just real quick threw one in here. And what I did real easy with this was I just mowed and killed down all the grass, and then at the end of the summer when I was planting my fall food plots, I came through here with clover and rye and just seeded right into this. But I had the whole plan kind of in place where I wanted to go with this little section. And here it is. Now we're in the hunting season. October 25th, rut's picking up, and this clover field is establishing really nicely. I expect in the spring, this is really going to be lush and full. All right, guys, this is my little plan, my little piece of the puzzle that I put together to help maybe draw the deer better into my property and away from the neighbors a bit. Maybe this is something you could apply to your land that you didn't think of. It is a little bit of work, but I am already noticing deer tracks, deer poop, and a trail through my grass here that's indicating that my cut fence, my little plot, is starting to draw them into my property. All right, guys, thanks for watching.